I'm in a lane. Yeah, let me show you this.
Ready? Okay, we'll call the April 24th, 2023 Depew Village Board meeting, and it's about 7:04. We'll do the pledge with Trustee Kraft.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And this evening, we have guest invocation from Pastor Brian Williams from North Point Church. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Father, thank you for this community and for these servants of yours that lead us. I pray your guidance and direction for them tonight in this meeting and the days to come. Lord, continue to keep us safe and as we live in and about this community. Lord, I pray for our officers tonight that are out on the street, our firefighters, others that are serving our community. Bless them tonight and keep them safe as well, as our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
And Pastor, you have anything to share with North Point?
Sure. June 10th is our annual Family Fun Day. We do inflatables and pony rides and free food and face painting and all good stuff. So love for you to stop by.
June 10th?
June the 10th from 4 to 8 in the afternoon. In fact, Audrey, if you have some information about the community center that we can make it pass out that night, that would be great as well. So anything that you have, we'll definitely put that out. But yeah, it's always a fun time. So just stop by, have a free hot dog on us and some cotton candy, and we'll be good.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Notification of fire exits.
The emergency exit is located to my left and to the rear of the room. In the event of an alarm or emergency, please move in an orderly fashion to the exit and evacuate the building.
Roll call.
Trustee Hammernick,
Present.
Trustee Zimba,
Here.
Trustee Kraft,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Adolph,
Here.
and Mayor Peterson.
Here. First item tonight is to approve the village board meeting minutes from the April 10th, 2023 meeting.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that we approve the village board meeting minutes from April 10th, 2023.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Next item of business, approve the planning board meeting minutes of April 6th, 2023.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption to approve the Planning Board meeting minutes from April 6th, 2023. Item 1, Joseph Skubis for the property located at 5836 Transit Road, Depew, New York, 14043, requesting a special use permit to operate motorcycle dealership in a C2 zone as per Chapter 260, Section 260-27, under the guidance of Chapter 260, Section 260-33, parentheses K, and of Chapter 260, Section 260-33, parentheses N, concept plan approved with stipulations.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's also carried. Okay, so we'll go through the items that are on the agenda that can be commented on immediately after I get done speaking about them. And then if there's any comments that are items that are not on the agenda, just something on your mind, we'll take that before we do claims and accounts. And tonight we have an executive session. It'll be at the end of the meeting, so hopefully we'll have everything pretty much wrapped up by then. So if we look at what's on the agenda tonight, it's permission for the chiefs of the Depew Fire Department. They'll be on Friday, May 19th and Friday, May 20th, going to a fire expo in Harrisburg, PA, and use of the chief's vehicle to take that trip is also being asked for. But what goes on down there? You guys find a lot of deals down there, don't you?
Yeah, I've been there probably about 8 times, and it's just multiple buildings full of vendors, and they got the best deals of the year. That's where you get all your contact information from and things like that.
Who's going with you? Anybody?
Myself, 9-1, 9-2, and 3 captains.
Very good. Next item is also for permission for Depew Fire to take engines 1, 3, and 6 to Mercy Flight in Cheektowaga on Tuesday, May 16th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for ground school training. We've done that in the past, too.
Yeah, they've been requesting it because they haven't done it since before COVID, and there's been a few near misses, as they say, and they're just trying to get all the fire department members trained in case we got to land a helicopter.
Next item is permission again for the fire department at the Northside Fire Hall, May 12th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. to get together for one of the members who's leaving the area to serve a military stint. Fourth item tonight is adopt, hopefully, our budget. This is a difficult budget this year. We had 16% increase in health insurance, projected 10 point whatever percent, more than 10% on the buildings and the vehicles. Payroll is the second year of making up for COVID, the 2-year contract that we have with that, so it's at 4.25% this year. And some of the other large ticket items was, even though we have LED street lights and LED lights in a lot of our buildings, our NYSEG electric bill is quite a bit high. We do have another partner that we've worked with or will be working with, NOCO, that'll be taking a look at that for us, both our gas and our electric. So some optimistic that we can maybe chop that down a little bit for this upcoming year. And then you name it. I mean, from DPW, Ken, you get increases in gas prices and
Parts. Those are the two main.
Now, on the other side, PD, cost of vehicles, Bill, that's your, Captain, that's your,
Skyrocketed in the last 2 years. You know, vehicles we could pick up for like 32 grand are approaching $49,000 now. And that's before you outfit them with emergency equipment. And consumers see it too. The price of vehicles are just sky high.
so we do have a number in the budget that's been that way for the last couple of years, but we're going to be taking a look at a different type of procedure in order to procure the police vehicles this next year. So one of the things that's interesting, and we'll show a little demonstration after the vote.
Whenever you want to.
All right. We'll do it after the vote, then you can get set up. So Cheektowaga, for those who live in Cheektowaga side, you know that you're at 100% assessment. It's been a couple years now. The Lancaster side, Paul, you sat in on our work session last week, you know the pain that is because it's only at 87% of assessed value. So the houses on that side are going to see a much greater tax bill. And it's at 8.01%. We've had as high as 4.1 in one of the 4 years that I had as mayor. And typically we've been, last year was 1.6, the year before that was at 0.5. So this is a little bit of a pill to swallow. And we're putting $1.1 million from fund balance to help with the number. So we worked hard on it. I think we spent a good part of 8 hours almost, 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah, I think it's important to note, the proposed budget was around 16% increase, so we got it down to what you said, 8, so we did do work on it, so.
Yeah, one bright spot, just so you know, is that we were able to make an adjustment in our perceived or our expected sales tax revenues of about 200,000 above what we were originally looking at. So that helped with the number, and we took off probably almost 700,000 in that last go-around. So that was a good effort. And we'll just have to keep striving. Next is permission for funds contribution. This is with the Depew Community Action Team, of which Audrey, Trustee Hammernick is a part of. There was some back and forth with the village of Depew and the town of Cheektowaga to obtain some soil and help the DCAT group fill in the hole that was the bowling alley. We had one resolution a couple weeks back where we were able to do that. Now
we're allocating it, and there's a Scribner's error. It should be dirt contribution, not funds contribution.
Oh, okay, thank you.
There's also two ands, so that and in the middle could go away as well. I don't know who drafted this, but they're probably the village attorney, sorry. But yeah, so
this takes it from us and gives it to DCAT, correct?
Cheektowaga had an abundance of dirt fill that they gave to the village for free, and we are reallocating that free fill to DCAT.
Cavity. Swimming pool
Enjoy.
right now. It's a large swimming pool.
Do we know how much dirt is going to go in there?
A lot.
No?
I don't know.
Well, we'll
A
count the
lot.
trucks. All right. And our last resolution is authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with the Capola Law Firm, Lisa Capola. So the village board has looked at, over the years, how we get people to certain positions. As an example, Ken, you came up right through the ranks, and you became the DPW superintendent. Don, you're a union member, and we're asking you to basically oversee the building department. In PD, with the two captains, Captain Kerr here tonight, Captain Norick, and Chief Miller, they all raised themselves through the union to a position that's in management. And Chief, on the fire side, although you have a different procedure, you're basically come up to the ranks as well. So it was felt that we needed to provide some human resource training for people that are managing the employees in the village. So what's intended here is that the department heads and anyone else that feels that they would like to have that training, Capola Law Firm was going to come in on two separate occasions with a 2-session deal and offer some training on that. So we feel this is an investment not to exceed 16 grand and an investment in our people. So that's what we're looking to do.
And just a note on the agreement the mayor's signing, it's parsed out based on an hourly rate. It just insisted that a not-to-exceed price be included in there. As many of you know, the only way you can hire an outside counsel is by agreeing to their hourly rate. So this is not an agreement to pay Lisa Capola $16,000. This is an agreement that we agree to her fee schedule, and it will not exceed that amount for the training.
And the fee schedule, I don't know if it matters, but we do have it.
And I reviewed it. It's a appropriate standard fee schedule for an attorney of her pedigree. She's very talented. We're excited to have her.
So those are the items that are on the agenda that anyone can comment on. If you want to come up to the microphone, Dave, just state your name and address and ask.
Just talk about this Capola firm. Was there something that the federal government mandated because of the equity thing that I've been reading about now? Is that why we have to go through this?
No, I don't know what that is, to be honest with you, but this came out of the board, just dealing with our employees.
And, I mean, it wasn't mandated, why would we do it then? Hire a firm to, for this much money to...
Because if you really want to know, if you don't do it the right way, and we mess up and the person hasn't been trained properly, it costs us far more than that in
Why?
legal fees.
I thought when
Essentially-
somebody got promoted, they'd be trained then and what's involved with the job. And usually if they're coming up through the ranks, they pretty much know what's,
That, you're talking two separate things. You're talking about how to do the job of captain or chief.
yeah.
We're talking about how to deal with sexual harassment, or quid pro quo, or bullying, union deals, working with unions.
Okay.
The
This
more
is-
HR side.
Right, this is
Yeah, this is-
higher level management training that has, not that the people we have don't do a fantastic job. I think they're all just people who would benefit from this training, and it could make things better for the employees in the village and all the managers. Because we're busy. I think every department's busy, and this is something that falls to the wayside. So to have someone teach us, structure us in exactly what to do and how to do it, have set procedures in place, it's really valuable to these departments. If not, we get sued and pay a whole lot more than
Yeah,
$16,000.
right. Okay, thank you.
We think it's a wise investment, Dave. Anyone else on any topics on the agenda tonight? Okay. And we're off and running. Resolution number 1, permission for the Depew Fire Department Chief.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following resolution and move for its adoption. Permission is hereby granted to the Depew Fire Department to use the chief's vehicle on Friday, May 19th, 2023, and Saturday, May 20th, 2023, to go to the Fire Expo in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Resolution number 2, permission for various fire department apparatus to attend a ground school training at Mercy Fight.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Permission is hereby granted to the Depew Fire Department to take engines 1, 3, and 6 to Mercy Flight located at 100 Amherst Villa, Cheektowaga, New York, on Tuesday, May 16th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for ground school training.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Resolution number 3, permission for the Depew Fire Department to hold a gathering for a member that's leaving for military leave.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Permission is hereby granted to the Depew Fire Department to use the North Side Fire Hall on Friday, May 12th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a get-together for a member who will be leaving the area on military leave.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Also carried. Fourth item is adopt the 2023-2024 budget.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the budget for the Village of Depew for the fiscal year 2023/2024 is hereby adopted with a tax rate of 8.953147 per thousand for residents on the Cheektowaga portion of Depew and 10.290973 per thousand for residents on the Lancaster portion of Depew.
I second that motion.
Need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hammernick,
Yes.
Trustee Zimba,
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph,
Yes.
and Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's approved.
So we have a little demonstration here on that Regina, our administrator, is going to show you. So after we got done on last Thursday, and we made the adjustments, I asked Nicole, who was helping us with this year's budget, if we were to put in 100% assessed value in the Lancaster side to see how it changes the budget. Now, granted, we made changes to the budget to make reductions, to bring a number into line, just let me get it set up. And you'll be surprised that being able to do it at 100%, which there's been big news in Cheektowaga over the years about being reassessed all the time. For whatever reason, the Lancaster's not at that. 87 this year. And we've already been forewarned that next year it'll be at 83. So the assessment of property values is not something the village does. We're dependent upon the towns to do that. So if there's a line there, here, Tracy. It's not showing up on that screen. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right around there. So you have it 87%?
Yep.
And you see the numbers in the highlighted area, correct? I can't see that far myself, but
You want me to angle it better?
once you read off, so you've got the Cheektowaga side at 100%,
Yep.
and that is the number that corresponds with what here?
The 8.9531.
And the Lancaster side at 87%. If we change that 87 to 100%, then everybody in the village is under, his taxes are less than last year.
Maybe point to the red line for them there. Yeah, those.
So it's really something that's very hard to plan for. It's very hard to, as Paul saw for 4 hours last Thursday, very difficult to make the cuts that you had to do. But personally, I'd much rather see my assessment at 100% every year. I know it's an expense for the towns and what have you, but it's much more accurate. Last year, both towns were at the same percentage. So, yes, I'm sorry, Liz?
Christina, could you just zoom it in on the Excel?
The
Bottom right corner.
right corner, that little slidey scale thing?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoa. I really thought we were gonna watch Apple TV.
Maybe not.
No? Oh, there you
Like that?
Wow.
Yeah.
go. We wouldn't have had to do as much cutting as we did.
Yeah. Basically, the way the budget is now, as you can see with the red line, they're both negative, which means every member of the village, every resident of the village of Depew would be getting a tax break with this. But due to the fact that the assessed value is not at 100, it changes the scales, and so that's why the Lancaster side will have an increase at this time. Toggle it back to 87. So if you watch the red, those red lines that are in the negative right now,
What are you saying about the Cheektowaga side?
Cheektowaga side's at 100%.
we're at
So-
100%.
You're getting a
Slight tax decrease.
tax reduction this year.
Tax reduction?
Yes,
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
there you go.
More money for Sabres tickets.
So,
Sorry, I gotta go.
yeah.
For once, we live on the right side of Transit Road.
Yeah,
The
so,
Hatfield is McCoy's over there.
Yeah.
very true. Thanks, Gina.
I'll leave that up there.
Yeah, sure.
It's back up at the 0.87.
That's fine. We put $1.1 million from our fund balance towards this budget as well, to help that number be a little more palatable. As Deputy Mayor Adolph said, we started at almost 16% when the tentative budget came out. Actually, I think it was a little bit less, but as we massaged the actual payroll numbers, it got to almost 15.6 more. I believe. Okay. Didn't want to be like a classroom here, but we thought it was important to see that.
It isn't showing on our screen here, but
What's that?
it doesn't show on our video, but
Okay. Okay, last item on the resolutions. No, two more items. authorize the dirt fill contribution.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas it has always been the intention of the Depew Village Board to contribute in some way to assist the non-for-profit Depew Community Action Team, DCAT, with their repurposing of the Dumpolsky Building at 570 Gould Avenue, Depew, New York, 14043, into a new Depew Community Center, as the repurposing of the Dumpolsky Building provides a benefit to the citizens of the Village of Depew, and whereas the Village of Depew has an abundance of clean dirt fill, which was given to the Village of Depew free of charge from the town of Cheektowaga, and whereas the village will provide all the clean dirt fill to DCAT as part of its contribution to the project that will benefit many residents of Depew.
I second the motion.
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammerneck?
Yes,
Trustee,
I have to abstain.
Audrey should abstain from this.
I abstain from this.
Thank you.
Can't get any.
Trustee Zimba?
Yes.
Trustee Kraft?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph?
Yes.
And Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
4 yes, that passed.
Thank you for the dirt.
You're welcome. Okay, and last resolution, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with the Capola Law Firm.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas the Village of Depew would like to enter into an agreement with Lisa Capola of the Capola Law Group for HR training for our department heads not to exceed $16,000. Now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Kevin Peterson is authorized to sign the agreement with the Capola firm.
I second the motion.
A roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammerneck?
Yes.
Trustee Zimba?
Yes.
Trustee Kraft?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph?
Yes.
And Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
5 yes, that's approved.
Employment applications we received at the DPW, one from Charles Hall, one from Jonathan Brumbaugh, and at the Rec Department from Samantha Gary and Jonathan Brumbaugh. No department head reports tonight, no unfinished or other business. And at this time, we'd like to welcome Elizabeth Brinkworth from Assemblymember Monica Wallace's office.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good start to the spring, you know? Hopefully we'll get back to that 80-degree weather. So far, you know, iffy. Good evening for those who are watching or new tonight. My name's Elizabeth Brinkworth, Chief of Staff for New York State Assemblymember Monica Wallace. As always, thank you all so much for giving me a few moments of your time just to provide some brief updates. Welcome, Trustee Kraft. Look forward to working with you, and
Nice to meet
welcome
you.
aboard. Assemblymember Wallace is currently in Albany. They're doing budget negotiations as we speak. Here's hoping there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we will have a budget by the end of the week. Assemblymember Wallace recently applauded SUNY for their decision to scrap standardized testing requirements. This is a move that brings forward a more fair admissions process when it's based on GPA. It allows students from all backgrounds, income levels, education backgrounds to have fair access to higher education. She's been a big motivator and pusher behind this initiative, especially with COVID when we saw the waiving of ACTs and SAT scores by SUNY and just the diverse enrollment that it brought. So we're excited to see that SUNY is waiving those testing requirements and solely based on GPA and the students' resumes that they submit through the application process of SUNY CUNY schools. Regarding this decision, Assemblymember Wallace was featured on the popular Albany broadcast, Capitol Press Room. She discussed this at length with David Lombardo. They did about a 15-minute interview on the subject matter and just how it benefits people here in the 143rd District, just with very diverse background, economics, schools. So we're happy to see that she was able to amplify, you know, the district's needs. Assemblymember Wallace worked with Senator Gallivan on getting a resolution passed in the Assembly. This resolution commemorated the heroic efforts of the Erie County Federation of Snowmobile Clubs. We understand they had a very big part to play in Lancaster. Clarence, while Clarence is not in her district, it is in the Senator, so we're happy to help push that resolution in the Assembly and get that group the recognition they deserved. I believe they're based out in Hamburg, but they have clubs throughout all of Erie County. They answered the call. They had snowmobiles ready to go, helping getting nurses, policemen, police officers, people who were stranded in their cars, just help get them to safety, to warming shelters or where they needed to be to help other first responders. So we thank them for being in the line of duty during that quite historic blizzard. This past Saturday, Assemblymember Wallace joined the coalition of labor union women to discuss women in labor, just kind of like how women operate in unions, how they help make change. So it was really interesting hearing the conversation from CWA's Debbie Hayes, AFL-CIO Angela Blue, and attorney Candace Morrison. And then Assemblymember Wallace provided kind of like how those in the Assembly Senate use labor to help with agendas and push for change. So that said, if anyone has any issues, that comes down to the state level, I know there's going to be a lot of talk, hopefully, at the end of the week with the budget. So we're here to answer any questions you might have. That said, we're at the district office and we're prepared to take any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Okay, so we'll go through our department heads. Start with building. Don and Kate.
There's really not a lot to, we got this.
He always says that, and I always point out something.
I really don't have a lot. We talked about pre-board, it was all minuscule stuff, but.
I think Main Street is a big part of it.
Well, 73 Main Street, we do have the demolition. We did pick the contractor that we're going to use to take that down, so it will finally come down, hopefully, by the end of the month, or the beginning of next month, get started removing that. And we are on track to, we went and did some evaluations on a few more buildings that we will be writing up to hopefully start to take some of the older buildings down, now that we've got a game plan going.
Very good. So we'll go across. Ken from DPW.
See, our department picked up some trees that we'll be planting in the next week. We will be spraying, having the trees sprayed, the crab apples, mostly on Columbia and Doe Haven. And that's about it for me.
Kevin Ferguson from Breck.
All the summer programs are all set. I left a bunch of sheets out there that tell you what's going on at Fireman's Park as far as all the sports that are going on. First sport coming up is probably in about 3 weeks. We turned the rink into a floor hockey arena in the summertime now. So we got 10 teams coming in there to play, but everything else is out there. There's enough for you to, everybody can grab and read. I got the 3 guys in the pool, getting the pool all cleaned up, ready to go. Like I said, we're gonna open it up in mid-May this year, just to make sure everything's in working order and everything's ready to go. You'll get starting, I'm gonna call, it says July 1st, and this year it's switching over to Veterans Park because of all the construction of Fireman's Park. And that's about all I have.
So when we get the date confirmed from Holly, we'll make sure we post it on the Facebook.
Yeah, I'll have it by the end of the meeting.
Okay, that, and we'll put it on the website too. Okay?
Yep.
Just changing locations. The key off of what he's talking about, Fireman's Park, obviously, has been a lot of things happening out there. If you're out that way, do take a look at the construction as it's getting along.
When's that going to be?
September, it looks like. So I committed to, some people have been asking questions about renting, because you'll be able to rent it all through winter. It's going to be 12 months.
Are you going to raise the rates?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so one of the things to keep in mind with that, just as long as you brought it up, we're considering a couple different plans. Where on a weekend, there might be a 9 to 2 shift, maybe for a kid's birthday party or something of that nature. Then there'd be a break, and rec can go in and clean up for the next person, which might be 3 to 8. There might be the ability to go from 9 to 8 for a different number, and there's no cleanup there until the end, so we don't have to do that twice. There will be built into the building gas grills, natural gas grills. So they'll plug in, rec again, it'll be a rental item. Rec will get it set up for whoever's renting the facility.
When I see, can two separate families be in the same building?
Yep.
See a door here, a door
Yep.
there? I mean, you don't think if people are drinking beer, there might be problems if this family wants to do something and this family's taking over the field or whatever, and
I don't think it's anything different than we're doing right now with the gazebo or somebody grabbing a couple of picnic tables.
actually, yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, we haven't set down all the things yet, but I'm committed to July 1st to have that ready to go. We think that, like I said, there's fireplaces in there for the wintertime. The bathrooms will be accessible through a app that the director will have. As an example, a couple of years ago, we had somebody who was playing ball out there and the bathrooms weren't open. So I had to call up Kevin. Kevin called up one of the employees who had to come down and unlock it. Well, now, if this can be done right through Smart app, unlock the bathrooms, and then at the end of the day, lock them back up again, because they won't be open throughout the night. But they'll be able to exit out the door towards the end of the day, when it turns to dusk. And again, those doors, the glass garage doors, can be open or closed depending upon what the weather might be. So if it's windy, like a couple of days we've had, you can close them right down. You want to open them up, you can do that too. But yeah, I don't even know what we charge for the gazebo, to be honest with you.
$50.
Okay. Yeah, there'll be a fee, and it'll probably be similar to like Westwood Park, but we're working on that. Okay? We're thinking early September.
should be a discount for the residents, a little more expensive for non-residents, right?
Yeah, we're not sure about the non-resident just yet. So without a doubt, like everything else in the pool, if you don't get the pool or if you're ice skating, residents get a break versus non-residents. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yoga's definitely July 1st.
July 1st, okay. A little late this year.
I'm sorry?
I think she normally does it in June, but,
I don't know about the baby.
yeah, maybe.
I'm not really sure.
Okay. Captain Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not much, but we're marching toward the finish line on our dispatch project, which has been a year in the making, and we're hoping that, I would imagine by the end of May, beginning of June, we would have our cutover from our current dispatch center. And the ambiguity on the end date just is based on us trying to get all of our vendors our outside vendors and contractors to get on the same date. And it's kind of at this point, it's trying to get all those ducks to fall in a row. So hopefully that'll be done in the next 60 days or less, and that's going to be a huge.
Typically, the door's open, so if somebody wants to peek their head in, they can do
Yep.
that.
Yep, there's been a lot of work. You see this, it's, I don't know, what do you think, about 90% there?
Yeah, close.
Yeah, unfortunately, the final 10% is all the electrical and communications lines, and that takes a lot of folks to get that to happen all on the same day.
So, I mean, from your perspective, being in PD, what are some of the differences between this and the old thing? I mean, you have the
Well,
restroom facilities, right?
Yeah, the dedicated restroom facilities. We found during times of the storm, when we have our first responders just absolutely maxed out. We had a dispatcher that was basically living in the building for 3 days, trying to catch naps, stuck here. And this dispatch center is much more livable. There's a kitchen facility in extreme circumstances like that. The current center that they're in is just too small for the work environment. It's just, we maxed it out. So this is a much more workable, comfortable environment. Both the equipment would create so much heat in there. We always have struggle with heating and air conditioning issues in there. Those have all been addressed with this new dispatch center. And like I said, we had a lot of partners, and I It came on board and helped us get this done. So hopefully, next 45 to 60 days will be complete.
Sounds good. Chief Gothier from Fire.
Okay, this Saturday, the 29th, at our West End Fire Hall, from noon to 3 p.m., we'll be having a what we're calling a showcase. It's the first time we're doing it. Basically, we're inviting the public. Anybody that wants to join can come down, and we will basically have a drill. We'll be going through our activities that we normally do on drill night, letting the residents see. We will have people there with ready to talk to you about possibly joining the fire service. It's a great opportunity to invest in your future and in your commitment to this village. So hopefully we get a lot of people out there. Hopefully we can get some applicants for that. We scheduled our open house. It will not be in October this year. It will be the first Tuesday in August. That will be August 1st, and that'll be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Veterans Park. There'll be more to come on that. Other than that, all we got is fire calls for April is 24 so far, and year to date is 109.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you want to mention the Veterans Day, the Memorial Day parade.
So the vets had reached out to me that they weren't going to do the parade this year. The guys and gals are getting a bit older. They feel that they couldn't, do the walk from out here at the Vine down to Terrace. I know a lot of people look forward to the Memorial Day parade. So I had an idea to reach out to the Fire Council and see whether or not they would be willing to work with me in getting, we'll pick the vets up in the old 1941 truck. They can all sit out in the back, and they'll ride the truck down to Veterans Park, and we'll use some of the funds that we had left over from Founder's Day last year to do the hot dogs and pop like they normally did. So we felt it was important to give back to the veterans for their service to the country, even though they're not as mobile as they used to be. We're trying to help out with that. So that will be on Monday, the 29th of May. And we kick off from here after a service in the Vine Church. Kick off from here about 10:45 a.m. for an 11 o'clock service at Veterans Park. And then hot dogs to follow. So I appreciate the help from the fire.
Yep.
Yep.
No problem.
All right, Sam from legal.
Okay, I don't have too much tonight. There was a robust discussion about what the village should do with respect to the marijuana stores that are going to be coming in and where we should regulate the zoning on that. So hopefully at the May meeting, we'll have something on the agenda, and we'll welcome comments from certainly Dave, Paul, and anyone else who wants to show up. It was great to hear that we got 3 bids under the threshold for, formally putting out the bid for the demolition of 73 Main Street. Hopefully that'll be demolished, the process will work, and we can get rid of some of these derelict buildings in the village. That's about it for me.
Okay. And we'll go, Trustee Kraft, anything tonight?
Kind of like piggybacking off, we were talking about the budget and like the unfortunate cuts we had to make and everything. We have a meeting, Andrew and I, with Kevin and Emery, Emery, to kind of throw around some ideas, like we were talking about what we might be able to do with the summer
Staffing.
youth rec programs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hill I will die on, so that's very vital.
We left money in there so that you can perhaps staff maybe West Austin.
We have to step it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. We'll go on this side. Trustee Zeppa.
Just with respect to agenda number 3, thank you in advance to the fire department member for his service that he's going to be partaking in. I don't want that to go without being said.
Good.
That's all.
Trustee Hamernick?
Yes, just a few things. On Saturday morning from 9 to noon, Darren and I handed out CO detectors to low-income residents here in the parking lot. There was not a good turnout. I guess I just didn't do a very good job of advertising it. We only handed out 15, but we will advertise better, and we still have a lot of them left over that we will be giving out possibly in the future, which we will notify the public of. And a little note, on Wednesday night at Salvatore's, I am honored to be receiving the Volunteer of the Year Award from the Lancaster Depew Elma Chamber of Commerce.
Congratulations. Very good.
Thank you.
Well, you're the driving force over there for that DCAT, so.
Yeah, if I can just give,
Sure.
go a minute?
Right ahead.
We are really moving along very good in the building. I mean, anybody is welcome over there to come and take a walk through. Paul was there. Right now, our heating and air conditioning heat pumps are going in our upper level. Our laundromat is 95% finished. The wall ceiling, they kind of messed up a little bit because trying to put the new air conditioning units in and that. But the large gymnasium area is, I would say, maybe 70% done. All the electrical is in, the fire alarm systems are in, security is in. It's just amazing. It's been painted for the last 3 days now. Sherwin-Williams reached out to us and just donated all the paint for the building for free. So we've really been fortunate. Just to give you a couple figures, with all the community donations for that building, it came out to $369,000 from our Depew, Cheektowaga, and Lancaster residents and businesses. Retail value is $572,000. So we have been very blessed and looking forward to it. We're hoping for, if we can get a certificate of occupancy, possibly a June 1st opening of the upper level. So thank you.
Awesome. Deputy Mayor Adolph?
Trees. So, Depew's Arbor Day celebration
Paul, take notes.
is going to be on May 6th, actually, this year. We've tried something new this year, so we won't conflict so much with other Arbor Day celebrations going on in the area. May 6th is a Saturday. We're going to have it at noon till 1 p.m. At Fireman's Park, as usual. I will be reaching out to different local reps. Elizabeth, if you let Monica Wallace know, but I will be sending her an email as well as the DEC and others. But we should have a variety of different seedlings and saplings to hand out to the residents on a first-come, first-served basis. This year's seedlings, we have tulip tree, northern red oak, black cherry, elderberry, hazelnut / which is also known as the filbert, and then we also have transplants of white pines and also Norway spruces. So we have a good amount of trees to hand out to local residents. So anyone that wants to come out to Fireman's Park, hopefully the weather will be nice, and we'll be out there at the gazebo from noon to 1. And the mayor will hopefully give the Arbor Day proclamation, and it'll be a great day had by all.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
my hopes.
I was reading the proclamation and just preparing. It says here,
Because we are a Tree City, USA, so we have to.
Yeah, here it
we have
was.
to rep that.
So I closed with this line. I thought this was it. I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, people showing up, that gladden my heart. So show on up and grab a tree.
Did you write that?
No, that's the tree. That's the Arbor Day Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, for Tree City, USA. So yeah, so come on out May 6th, Saturday, and hopefully it'll be a great day.
Okay. we'll just close with this. Audrey, your sidewalk work up there is scheduled for mid-September to early October, so that'll clean that up for you.
Yes, thank you, it's very much needed.
And Danforth Contracting Company here did the senior center over this past week with all new heating and air conditioning units on money that we were able to obtain from the CARES Act, going back to 2020. So we got the most money of any of the other senior centers in Erie County, $102,304. So it completes the project down at the senior center, because they also had the touchless water faucets and toilets and such. So new heating and air conditioning. That's it for everybody. Anybody who would like to make a comment on any item? Come on up. We missed you a week or so ago.
People tell me that, I tell them to work on their aim.
Put that one in there.
You don't want to say that to me.
I got a few items here.
Paul, what's your
Nothing
address?
major. Oh, Paul Sprata, 58 Argus Drive.
Thank you.
Andrew,
Yes.
the trees that are those going to be bare root trees or potted or what?
So they'll be like saplings.
Yeah.
All of them are about this big.
Bare root?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be distributing them there. That we'll have them all lined up, so you can come up and pick your type of tree.
Okay. I read in the paper, I think over the weekend, about is it the state giving Cheektowaga and Lancaster and Depew a lot of money to get Skejackota Creek cleaned up. Do you have any further information on what's going to happen here? Does anybody?
I read this, I heard the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's
They're
through
gonna make sure that because Skejackota Creek is gonna be cleaned up, and it just said Skejackota Creek runs through Cheektowaga, Lancaster, and
Lancaster and
Depew.
Depew, right?
Yes.
And there's a
That's-
lot of
That was about all.
there's a lot of fallen trees that I've seen off of Central or in my area even, and in Cheektowaga too.
Yeah. It was just a blanket statement that they made.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. But we have no plans for the village at this point?
Well, it wouldn't be done by,
Wouldn't be done by the
Wouldn't.
village? Okay.
no.
All right. This Saturday, there's an Arbor Day celebration at Westwood Park for
Do you have trees this year?
Lancaster residents and Depew residents.
You have the trees this year?
I hope they have trees this year. They didn't last year.
We
There was a
know.
slip up there.
The pew will have trees.
And anyhow,
You picked them up, right?
that'll
Yeah, I
be this
picked them up.
Saturday for people of all ages, kids. I'm in a Lancaster Garden Club too, and we plant pansies with the kids that they take home because it's close to Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that for at least the past 20 years. So that's just a reminder, if nothing's going on in your life on Saturday, it's a day of a lot of things going on there. Free hot dogs too for everybody. Let's see. Oh, the free dirt that we're that we're getting. Does that include the transportation of the dirt too? Okay. So I wanted to make sure of that.
Pretty good.
That was in the original agreement. They're gonna bring it here, and we're gonna say, dump it over there.
Right.
Okay, one other thing, on a safety issue, on Patrick Lane in Cheektowaga, across from the old Barnabas Church, there's no center line painted on the pavement. That's a pretty busy street, a pretty wide street. And I can remember not too many years ago that our part in Depew of French Road, there was a fatal car crash head-on. Before the fatal car crash, there were no lines up the center. Now we have a double yellow line. Could that be possible for Patrick?
Look into it.
Look into it? Okay. That's a busy street, and I just see a lot
We
of
gotta
that.
see if we can get paint this year.
Okay.
That
Talk
was-
to
that
Sherwin
was-
Williams.
Yeah, Audrey's got a hookup.
There's always an issue.
Borrow some paint from Audrey,
We
sure we're
tried to
really,
get it already, and we were told, hang on, so.
hang on for how long?
It's a
All right,
issue.
I got one other thing too. How's our solar farm coming, Sam? I think you,
They just paid us a whole bunch of money and they paid it wrong. We needed 2 checks instead of 1. So the building permit fee is a set amount, and then there's money they're depositing into escrow, because we've never done this before. We don't know if the actual costs of inspection and other things are going to exceed the building permit fee. So we needed 2 checks, and that's the only holdup with.
It actually, I received them today, processed it.
Oh, great.
So, the permit's basically already issued. The only thing I asked them for was a PDF version of the plans to go into our computer system, because we have no way of scanning the large set of plans that they sent. So when we're out in the field, if we need information, we can pull it off the tablet. Other than that, I already printed the permits, and they should be getting started soon.
So we must be on the same wavelength, because I reached out last week to Jim Bodeker and to Paul Varkovich, and they just sent over a new timetable. So you would see starting in September and finishing in December, and with plans of January being turned on at that point.
okay.
So they're behind, without a doubt, but
Oh, it's been a couple of years in the making here, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a huge project, and it had underpinnings of the issue with the DEC. Speaking
Yeah,
of
that-
free cleanup, that cost
Yeah.
us a few $100,000 to remedy. And then there was the other component to lease the lower parcel, because I wanted to put a wedding pavilion there, Paul's Pavilion we were gonna call it, and they wouldn't let us do that. So we leased it to the solar farm, then the DEC wanted additional fill. There were a lot of moving parts, but we're happy to see it come to fruition.
Okay. Speaking of solar, has anybody next door to the west of where the solar farm's going to be, you got Twin Village Salvage, and to the west of them, I call it Garbage Mountains. It's the landfill, former landfill. I don't think it's a landfill anymore, but has anybody ever looked into wind generating electricity on top of those hills that are just
So
there?
I'm not speaking from a policy perspective for the board, but from a risk management perspective from my department. If no one's bothering you about a landfill, don't touch it. It's my rule. But, that's a great idea, Paul.
It just seems like wasted space that, served its purpose, but we can repurpose that space.
I think lately there's been a lot of negative press about solar, wind turbines. They pulled them out of the lake because they were trying to put them on the lake,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I know that so many other places, there's some resistance, but,
Just a thought.
yep. That's Cheektowaga, by the
I
way.
think that's all I've got. I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
We should have them sign an NDA when talking about
Anything
our
tonight?
celebration.
Would you like the floor, sir? Anything? Okay. Ms. Wolf?
Teresa?
Come on, this is our historian. Ms. Wolf.
I've been working pretty steadily this week. I've had 3 requests from people looking for information about the village. Today I met with the representative from the Depew Lake Esther Elma Chamber of Commerce. They're putting a book together, and they wanted photographs and information about our history. So I think she got enough for her book, and if not, she'll be back to see me. Tomorrow I have a person coming from a local church. She wants to know everything she can about the architect, the people who designed the stained glass windows. I'm afraid we won't have much to give her because we have the history of the congregation, but not of the building. And then I have a third person who's coming in from out of town. He's looking for information about the railroads. So the requests keep coming, and I did get a letter from the Erie County Fair. You might recall that last year I got a request from them saying that Depew had never been in the fair in the historical building, and they had empty slots. They wanted somebody to fill them, so I did. And we were lucky enough, I got 2 people to help me. We won second prize.
Yeah.
And we were really proud of that.
Yeah. That's right out here in the hall.
The exhibit is in the hall, in case you haven't seen it, but it's hard to miss. They've invited us to come back this year. And the theme this year is Vietnam. So we are working on it. It's pretty open. You can talk about the war itself, you can talk about the community, you can talk about people who fought in the war. So I'm working on that. I'll be going to the University of Rochester to look at some archives from a woman who used to live here. She was active in supporting the troops in Vietnam, even though she wasn't any longer a resident of Depew.
Awesome.
So I keep working on it. And I won't embarrass you, will I? I need some muscle to move something up there. And I hated to ask you all winter because I know how busy you were with the storms and
We have
everything.
people in here all the time lately.
So we'll talk. I need to rearrange the office so it'll work better. Okay, thank you.
Good. Let's see. Oh, you didn't mention about the trees. Huh? You're planting a bunch of trees as well, bigger trees.
Yeah.
So where's trees going at residents' requests? Remember we used to, on the other side there, used to tell Cheektowaga, I need a new tree, and it never showed up.
Lancaster would plant the new trees, Depew would take down the...
Well, Lancaster's still planning. We're just adding, the town of Lancaster's forestry is still planning. We're just adding to it.
It's part of being Tree USA, so, right, Andrew?
Right. Yeah, we have to spend so much on trees per capita for the village residents to be qualified for the Tree USA status. So we're keeping that up and keeping it going. So.
You're getting the trees from Schickles, right? Which is local in Springville.
Not real local.
All right. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on to claims and accounts.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, the claims and accounts have been audited by the Finance Committee and are approved for payment as follows.
In the general fund, $294,902.37. Community development, 0. Sewer fund, $877. Capital projects, $5,601, for a total of $301,380.37.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. And if we could move into executive session, please. Oh, I didn't assign somebody.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion that the board moves into executive session in regards to a personnel matter at 8:07 p.m.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you all.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees.
Hold it.
Okay.
Now you can. All set.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to bring us back from executive session and close it out at 8:54 PM.
No decisions were made.
No decisions were made.
And a second?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. And finally, the adjournment.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to adjourn this meeting at 8:54 PM, keeping in our thoughts Shirley Bernstein for her health, who is Sam Alba's grandmother, as well as Ken Grinkowski. Yeah, our administrator's father.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.